Hi guys, and welcome to Living on Purpose with me, Jenny Dean. I am here today with Tom Bates. He is the owner of Haylo Cbd. He has 5 stores now, one in Waxahachie and the rest in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And he's going to tell us the story of how he got involved in the CBD business. I wanted him to come on because I love his story about his daughter, which he's going to explain. And I know nothing about the benefits of CBD. I just know that the gummies are good, and maybe they help me relax, or maybe I'm, taking a bunch of stuff that I have no idea if it's even doing anything. It's all, doing absolutely nothing for me. So he's going to explain to us. We're going to get right into his story on how he even started the CBD business. Hello.
Well, hello there. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. I want you to tell everyone about Haley and everything, all about your store.
Okay, so in '96, December '96, my wife and I, she gave birth. I was there under a traumatic birth situation. The placenta had abrupted and there was no oxygen flow to our little girl, Haley.
Okay.
She was born with no life sign whatsoever. She was purple. The doctors were pronouncing her dead when the pediatrician came in and revived her. After an extensive stay in a Wichita hospital, she was born in Dodge City. We were then in a NICU in Wichita, Kansas for 17 weeks, I believe. It was a very, very long time.
Okay.
We were 8 months into, let's go back to the NICU. Some of the smartest neurologists on the planet, one being Richard Gilmartin, one of the neatest men you'd ever meet, loves children, loves Haley dearly, came to us and told us that Haley would never walk, she would never talk, she's not going to come off of this table, this bed that she's on, and very likely not going to leave the hospital alive. And that if we took her off life support, that she would have more seizures, another stroke, and probably pass. And that was 8 weeks into the NICU stay in Wichita. And we're at a table much bigger than this with a whole bunch of doctors and neurologists and a lawyer and administration for the hospital who's telling us, we're probably going to need to take her off life support at some point. And by this time, I'd not left the bedside for anything except to use the restroom and to eat and then come back. Otherwise, I'd never left her side. And so I get up from the table and I go out and I excuse myself, and one of the nurses and a doctor came with me, and they asked where I was going. I said, I'm going to take her off life support. There's no reason to wait for you guys to make a decision. This is what you're telling us. There's no reason to wait. Let's do it now. And something came over me to do that, to have that statement.
Okay.
And I had no idea what was going to happen, except these are smarter people than me telling me something's going to happen. And so we went out, and I took her off life support. And 4 hours later, she's in my arms looking around the room.
Wow.
And wondering what this new thing called life is.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And my faith in ministry, my faith in my Creator instantly changed.
That's so cool.
Instantly changed. I had, my wife and everybody there, and we're looking around, and we're just praising that something different's going to happen with this child that everybody has basically said isn't going to make it, is now there. So months down the road, we had no idea why she wasn't developing into a normal toddler.
Okay.
She was very withdrawn, very, very underdeveloped in every aspect of life. So we continued to see Richard Gilmartin, the neurologist out of Wichita, and he told us at 8 months that she had cerebral palsy. No, in fact, he said, she's just got CP, she'll be fine.
Uh-huh.
Okay, cool. So she'll ride a bike funny, or this will go on,
Right.
or that, she'll wear a helmet, maybe a walker. No, she's spastic quadriplegia with a seizure disorder, respiratory disease, and severe scoliosis at this, as she gets older. Her body was caving in on
Yeah.
itself. Twisting, rotating, lungs collapsing. We've been through it all. She has been through it all. She had 3 spinal reconstructive surgeries complete.
So never walked.
Has never walked. Has never said, "Daddy, I love you." Has never said a word. But when you look into her eyes, my wife says that she's the master of communication without words.
Yeah, so she talks with her eyes.
Yeah. You know what she wants. Her little world is so protected that, before her first wheelchair, when she was just 3 years old, her world was right here looking around and, looking down. And when she got in her first wheelchair, where her body was forced to sit up straight and look around, her world went from right here to right
everything,
here.
yeah.
And it was so divine that she had that look of unconditional love about everything she knew, said, and did. And what an amazing gift that was to be able to be part of. And it was very special.
So I have an aunt that has cerebral palsy, my mom's sister, and they told them that she wasn't going to live till over 30. She was not going to be, alive. She's now like 64. I think she just turned 64.
Yeah.
Never has talked, but with her eyes, we communicate with her. So, and she went all the way to high school. Like, people think their brains aren't smart, but that is just not the case. I mean, she graduated from high school, never said a word. She talked with her eyes, and then they had a laser thing that would go to the computer, and that's how she studied, and that's how she read, and it's crazy and she's still alive and kicking it now.
Yeah. They are the cerebral cortex is made up of a gray matter in the back of your brain. It's about the size of an acorn that controls all of your motor skills. And your brain tells the cerebral cortex to do something, and it does it. And that sends it out to your other.
So they don't have that.
It's damaged.
Yeah.
It's very similar to a drowning patient, a patient who is drowned.
Okay.
Depending on the level of damage to that cerebral cortex or the gray matter will dictate typically the damage or lack of ability, how involved the person is with that cerebral palsy.
Okay.
The cerebral cortex controls all of it. Your gray matter will send and receive messages from your CB1 or CB2 receptors on emotions and feeling and anti-inflammatories or inflammatory sorts of things. But your cerebral cortex controls those motor skills and allows or does not allow a message to be sent to that muscle. So somebody like you said your aunt, and Haley and millions and millions of other people with different levels of CP or cerebral palsy, they just don't have the ability to reach up and scratch their nose.
Yeah.
But they sure want to.
I know.
Right? And so Haley is, you just look at her.
Angel.
She is everything. God has just so blessed us with her. She is everything.
Yeah. She's your angel. That's what we called my aunt, is she was always Angel Aunt Debbie.
Yeah.
Just to live like that and still smile and laugh, and she can do all those things. Yeah. So tell us how CBD, like how you came about all this.
Okay, so my wife and I and our son Brady and Haley, through Haley's different medical needs, have been planted in different parts of the country based on what Haley's medical needs were. So when she had to have spinal reconstructive surgery, we knew that we had to be in the Metroplex here in DFW. Some of the top surgeons in the world are here.
Okay.
Why not be there, right? So I took an office space in Dallas. I went to work for an attorney down here from Denver. We went from Dodge City to Colorado Springs to Denver to here based on what Haley's needs were. And, we were blessed to be able to do that.
Right.
And so I come home from work one afternoon, and it was a short day. I only worked 12 hours that day. And my wife is working from the time she wakes up to the time she goes to bed. All things, all hands, everything's on
taking
deck
care
for
of Haley, yeah.
All the time. And so I come home from work, and there's a bottle of cannabis from a place called Charlotte's Web, and out of Denver, which, by the way, is Stanley Brothers and little Charlotte. I've seen their video 1,000 times, and I cried every time. But they were able to stop Charlotte's seizures. and completely, down to 1 or 2 a day. And, at the time I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, I'm in Texas. I'm not in Colorado. Get that out of my house.
Yeah.
Ain't having this.
Right.
And, too bad. Too bad. You know what? The seizures are stopping. They're slowing down.
So they sent that to you.
They did.
Okay.
And we went from almost 50 seizures a day to 15 or 20 a day. Sometimes a little more, but they were getting cut in half. So
These aren't grand mal seizures. These are just
they're both. So
okay.
a grand mal to a complex partial to an absentee to different types of, and different areas of the brain are damaged with Haley. And so she would have different types of seizures. And, she'd turn blue. She'd stop breathing. All these different life-changing events with her. And so I really got to thinking, and at the time I was training religiously at Guy Mesger's Combat Sport Club.
Oh, cool.
On a regular basis. I was there 6 days a week. And I would either be there in the morning or afternoon, but I knew that the more I worked out, the better I felt. The more I trained, the better I became, the sharper I got at things. And I thought, well, what happens if I change up what's going on here with Charlotte's Web's product? Not their product, but I develop my own that stays in Haley's body longer. So we went to some research and development in Colorado and developed our own product, our own strain. And sure enough, we were able to take that. And this whole time we're staying on Charlotte's Web because it's starting to show positive results for Haley. And sure enough, with some of the changes that we went our own direction with, we were able to develop a product that stays in her system better, smoother, longer.
Okay.
And it stays in your fat cells longer, so we're able to reduce her seizures even more. So we went from the start of upwards 50 a day down to 1 or 2 every other day.
Nice.
And that's what we're on right now. She's still on her phenobarbital, baclofen, Klonopin, and some of these other medications, but they're below a therapeutic level. So the doctors will say therapeutic range might be from 4 to 8, whatever that 4 to 8 or 4 to 12 is. She's at a 1 or a 2, so she's far below what that dose might normally trigger this reduction of seizures. And with this, we're able to reduce those seizures to almost none.
So what do you think it is doing to her? Do you think it's like relaxing her so she's not, what's it doing to the brain?
So your CB1 receptors, there's a couple things. So the cannabinoid CBD in and by itself isn't doing a whole lot.
Okay.
But when you employ the entire plant, so there's 113 to 130 that we know of different cannabinoids within the hemp plant or the cousin of marijuana, the marijuana plant. This product that we've developed is below 0.3% THC, which is the cannabinoid in there that gets you high or on that.
So it has a little bit of it.
It does.
Okay.
So one of our products, one of our strains, our original one had none. No THC whatsoever. When the Farm Bill passed and other regulations changed, we started adding.
Because of the benefits.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many benefits to the whole plant. So we added that. And now our genetics, which is an intellectual property that we've got developed up in Colorado, there's one farm on the planet that grows it. That's it.
Wow. And it's in Colorado.
It is. It is in Colorado. Destination Colorado unknown. But
It
is the plant in and by itself where we do all of our production and creation and manufacturing. It's like walking into an emergency room or an ICU unit you're dressed down in gis, if you will.
Wow.
With rubber glove and you feel, look, and act and are treated as if you're in a surgical room.
That's pretty
cool. It is
every part of the facility, the manufacturing, the processing, is 100% certified organic by the Department of Agriculture.
Okay.
It's the only plant that I've been to that I know of that is such. And so from the genetics all the way to the sealed bottle in my stores is 100% certified organic by the
Which is
Department of Health.
not, because I was telling you, I went to a spa and I swear they offered me CBD gummies and I'm like, sure. And I have no idea what you're taking.
No, you don't.
So there's a lot of stuff out there that we just don't need to bother with.
Well, Jenny, it's knowledge is power.
Right.
Right. If you know what it is you're putting in your body, you're driving, kind of like the maps on our phone. I know how much time I have to get from destination A to B.
Yeah.
But if you don't know that, now you've just lost that power on being able to stop and get a glass of milk or a soda or go to the gym or whatever you want to do
Right.
on your way. You don't have that power now. Now you're going to be late to an appointment if you don't get there, right? So one of my wife and I's directives was to make certain that we controlled the start to the finish of
Okay,
Haley's
good.
product. Our ability to monitor, manage, oversee every part of the production and quality control of our product, it has to be treated as such. If I can't put my daughter's name on it,
Yeah, you're not going to
I
accept
don't
it.
want anything to do with it. And so knowing that everything from the genetics to the manufacturing to the ingredients to the results of third-party lab testing twice has to be done, and it's got to be on my queue. If it's not, then we rebatch it, we reprocess it, or simply discharge it and start over.
Okay, so what if, I remember walking into your store and the one thing I liked, first of all, there's two things I liked, because I think you gave me a basket, you did. And you had melatonin. So do you mix CBD with melatonin?
So what we had at the time when I first started,
Yeah.
there were two companies within there, or excuse me, one company, two products. And I added this other product because they're a partner farm right beside us in Colorado.
Okay.
They are no longer.
Oh, okay.
And, you either outlast the storm in Colorado or you don't.
Right.
The snow gets real deep and you either make it or you don't.
Right.
So we actually started everything now is indoor. All of our processing, all of our grow is indoor. You get more harvest per year. You can create a more controlled environment. And the product is far superior than an outdoor grow.
Really? Okay.
Absolutely. Your ability to manage the soil, the condensation, the evaporation, the airflow outside versus inside
you
is
can't.
just, you
Yeah.
can't control. So maintaining solid genetics requires cloning. It requires a lot of different things that we want to be able to control better and improve on. So
Okay.
outdoors, you just can't do that. So melatonin in and by itself, your body's supposed to be producing.
Right.
When you substitute something into your body, like melatonin, your body will assume that it doesn't have to do it anymore. And then you can actually have to crash off of that product. So we don't carry the melatonin
good.
products anymore.
Yeah, 'cause so I take it and I'm like, you cannot wake up the next day. It's
No.
like you're a hangover all day.
Yeah, and it gives you an unnatural rest.
Yeah, it does.
Where if you have now, to clarify, CBD is a single cannabinoid from within the cannabis plant.
Right.
There are over 113 to 130 that we know are there. So your body needs those.
Right.
Your body already has those in there. And so if you think of your body like a mobile when you were a baby looking up in your crib and you got this mobile there, right? Well, your body and your CB1 receptors respond very similar, where if you move just one little item on that mobile, the whole thing's going to move.
Right.
But if one is off balance, the whole thing keeps moving.
Okay.
It doesn't stop moving. And so our bodies are made up of a whole lot of water. Our brains are made up of a whole lot of gray matter. And the communication system is so complex that you almost have to forget how complex it is and
Right.
simplify it. So your CB1, CB2 receptors, they're going to respond differently based on what your body needs are. So whether it be age, digestive problems, weight, ethnicity, all of those things play a factor.
Okay. So what is your number one product you suggest if someone comes in for anxiety?
So you come into one of my locations or call or you do a consult on with anxiety, I'm going to ask a lot of questions. I don't want to just say, hey, take this and see if it works. I want to know what your diet is. I want to know what you're anxious about.
Yeah.
What time
People
of day.
can't identify that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So let's dig in a little bit deeper.
Okay.
What's causing that? Is it truly anxiety, or is it brought on anxiety? Is it systematic anxiety where you're driving and you don't want to drive because there's a bunch of
Or
knuckleheads out there?
flying. A lot of people have that.
So that is situational
Yeah.
anxiety. And so situational anxiety, there's a few different products that I would recommend, and one is the raw hemp plant in and by itself. Here's a great big bud like this that looks like marijuana, but it's not.
There's no THC in it.
It's 0.3 or less. It's all bred out of it.
Does it make you have a high feeling?
Not at all.
I think people think it does.
They do. They
Yeah.
do. It is a very, oh my gosh, it smells like it, looks like it, feels like it.
They act weird.
And now I'm, oh my gosh, hey, I'm
And you're
chill, but I'm
fine.
not high. So your CB1 receptors send those signals to the rest of your body and what it is or is not doing. So when in doubt, walk away. When you walk into a store, if you have a doubt over a product, walk away from it.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going into a liquor store or a gas station. You're not going to buy your sushi from a gas station. If
Right.
you do, you know, I'm sorry.
Right.
The results might not be fun. Don't buy your CBD there either.
What does it need to say that we know that it's accurate?
So you don't. You don't. Unfortunately, the lab reports that come out in product that are sitting in gas stations are not going to be available.
So they can tell you whatever you want to hear.
Exactly. And hopefully you would just spend your money. Don't do that. Don't go to the liquor store for it. Don't go to the smoke shop for it.
Yeah.
The smoke shops, you know, I don't want to talk bad about companies, so I'm not, but unless they have done their homework and the due diligence needed to produce, create, manage, and be responsible for that product, don't take it. Don't take it. Walk away. That's
Because anyone can make these now.
you can. You can literally go online, drop ship product anywhere, and these people that are drop shipping product have never touched, tried, smelt, or studied the product.
No,
They
yeah.
got a $2 website and, you know, an idea of cashing in quick. They have no idea what they're sending you, and you have no idea truly what you're buying. So it's very similar to, it's exactly. CBD is just an acronym to a much longer word that have many, many other elements to
Meanings,
it
yeah.
and ingredients to the certified industrial medicinal hemp plant. And there's so much left out when you see a sign that says CBD.
Totally. I totally agree with you.
There is. Because you really, you asked me earlier, if somebody comes in with anxiety, what am I going to give them or recommend? I'm going to recommend they open up to that person if they trust talking to that person.
Okay.
If they don't, walk out. Get to a place of comfort, confidence, and control. So when you walk into one of my stores, they're not franchised. They're all overseen by me personally.
Okay.
The product in every single store I oversee personally. I do not allow anything in my stores that I have not vetted personally. HJB is the product that we developed out of Denver. That's Haley Jessica Bates. It's named after my daughter.
Yeah.
We have both a broad spectrum and full spectrum. One's purple, one's green. The green has 0 THC,
Okay.
0.0000 to the nth degree. There is none. The full spectrum, a little purple line across the top, does. It has.
So if they take drug tests,
They could fail it.
yeah.
They very
okay.
well could fail it. Now, being open and transparent about that, not everybody's going to do that. In fact, they'll say it's a full spectrum product, THC free.
When there's no way
It's
that
not
can
possible.
happen.
Is it really full spectrum? If so, how is it THC free? Here's the full spectrum of the plant.
Because if you're full spectrum, you have to have THC.
That's
in it.
correct.
Yeah.
You can't not, or you claim it broad spectrum. But there's radio stations on that I'm listening to some of these things say it's a full spectrum THC-free product, and oh my gosh, how are they even getting away with this? Well, it's a Wild West still. People are saying what they want to say,
Right.
advertising what they want to advertise. But if they don't have the physical labs right in front of them, right in front of the product.
You would not take it.
I would absolutely not take it. In fact, I just would not take it.
Okay.
And I'm certainly not going to spend $150 on it.
I know it's
It
really
can be.
expensive.
It
Yeah.
is. And the more organic and the more work that
The
a
more
company,
pricey.
it is. Our product isn't inexpensive. It's not cheap.
Yeah.
But it's also not cheap to make, and we make it batch by batch by batch, and it goes to my stores. It doesn't go anywhere else.
Right.
I'll sell it on our website for the stores, but that's it. I don't mass distribute this.
So, and it's 100% natural. So there's no, like, no one gets addicted to it. And
No, there are
okay.
zero addictive properties in it. Zero.
That's huge because everyone's taking these pills just to, I feel like we want to exit our body. Like we don't want to truly, like if we're upset about something, we don't want to identify it and then talk through it. And, no one wants to do that. They just want to take something and not think about it again.
Yeah.
Right?
80% of our medicines that we take right now from the pharmacy come from either China or India. We don't control the manufacturing of that. We control the purchasing of that.
Yeah,
The FDA controls the purchase of it in hopes that it is what they say it is.
Yeah.
When you have a product like the cannabis plant or other organic and naturally grown processed ingredients that we put in it, the sunflower oil that we used is also certified organic by the Department of Agriculture. The vanilla that we use is also organic, certified by the Department of Agriculture. Every element that goes into it is certified organic. You can't say that about just
Most
about
of it,
anything that you
yeah.
buy from any grocery store.
Right.
You can't. And for that, I know that what I'm putting in your body is going to be healthy. It's going to be natural, and there will be no addictive properties in it.
So for someone like me, what would you suggest? Like, do you suggest I get on that if I'm not an anxious person because I think I take that all out when I work out?
Okay.
So should I take it daily? That's what someone did ask. I need to ask those questions, but go ahead.
So knowing you like I do, you are a
Yes.
person that lives on purpose.
Yes.
Very much so. That turned around to me as a person that's living by design, not default, right?
Right.
So you're planning your future. You're living by purpose,
Yes.
and not just right here in the moment, but I want right here in the moment to be a
Right.
gift to other people.
Right.
And
Yes.
so living by design is very similar to that. So if I say to you, what are your personal goals in health, wellness, recovery, and so on, and are you reaching those now? And is this a product that can help support that? So
Okay.
your workout recovery, absolutely.
Okay.
I see it all the time. We have professional athletes that come in. We have semi-professional athletes that come in for muscle recovery.
So those are the drops you would suggest?
Well, the drops or a topical salve. So you don't want to just cover up an ache and pain.
No.
You need to know it hurts.
Right.
That's your body talking to you. But if it's deeper than that, if it's joint recovery, if it's post-surgical, if stuff like that, absolutely, there's a need for it.
Okay.
But for you, I would suggest that maybe a very, very low dose of 500 or 750. So because you sleep well, you eat well, you're healthy overall life.
Right.
There's got to be a need somewhere for me to say,
Recovery would be huge for me.
yeah, then that's where I would start. And I would start with, there's no such thing as an at-need basis with a
Right,
true
okay.
supplement like this. There's products out there on the market that are water soluble. Be very careful of those, and I may get
Because I've seen
backslash
that
from
all
this.
the time. So yours is not water soluble.
Absolutely
Okay.
not. So a water soluble has to reach a certain nano level in chemical structure in order to be a water base.
Okay.
In order for it to reach a water base, you've got to add toxins to it or chemicals to it, one of which propylene glycol is a very common one. It's also a very common ingredient in the antifreeze in your car.
Oh, gosh, that's great.
So we all know what antifreeze does to dogs and cats and pets.
Yes.
It shuts their
Right.
renal system down. The benefit to that is that it's out of your system in a very short period of time, but not without leaving that damage to the liver.
I
So
know.
there's research being done right now by the Food and Drug Administration, some of the smartest doctors in Baylor, and we'll get to that in a moment with UT Southwestern.
Okay.
They've done so much research on the renal system as to whether or not this is happy, healthy, or dangerous to it. But what they're looking at is a product that's called Epidiolex, which is the legal conformed pharmaceutical drug for seizure activity in hospitals and patients and that sort of thing. Basically medical marijuana. Here in Texas, and that's what they're using. So their research, and this could go on for days, we could talk about this, but the Epidiolex that's out there is the same active ingredient compounded as some of these water-soluble products. I would not, the water-soluble product, I just don't endorse because it is not natural.
I've seen that. I've seen that everywhere.
It's not natural.
You have hemp oil. You have, what all do you have? What kind of oils do you have? You have vanilla?
We have vanilla, peppermint, and lemon. And
cool.
these are flavonoids. So they're not just, okay, so this is going to taste like this, or this is actual vanilla. This is actual organic peppermint. This is actual organic lemon or lemon. And all of these have medicinal benefits additionally to your hemp plant. So your certified industrial hemp plant that we own, grow, control, manage, process, and stick in a bottle also comes with these other additional medicinal plants. And so for you, if I say, you know, we got to get some lavender in here, that might be something a little different, but limonene is amazing for inflammation. So is vanilla. So
Okay, I want to get through the questions that people are asking me on Instagram. Kids, children, what is your take on children taking these? Someone said that the doctors don't really tell them everything. Which brand is safe and certified to use on children with pediatric arthritis? Doctors don't share their opinion on this as there isn't much research.
okay, so anything pediatric, doctors are not going to come out and say, do this,
Right.
do this, and or this will help, this can't help, you know, which, by the way, I'm not a medical doctor. So don't take this as medical advice.
Right.
Take this as, hey, this works for Tom, this works for his
Right.
kids, this works for
All relative.
all very,
Right.
very relevant,
Yeah.
yes. I'm a proponent of keeping things organic and certified organic.
Okay.
Keeping them clean, all the way to the water that we feed our plants is processed properly and in accordance with certifications of being organic.
Right.
My position on kids, first, let's define that. Is this a toddler? Is this an infant? Is this, you know, somebody that's trying in sports and has, you know, torn things down? So to answer the question, absolutely stick with a non-THC product.
Yes.
And I suggest that only because this child very well could be in a public school
Right.
where it could be tested. And the testing in the school
Oh,
systems
gosh.
are testing for cannabinoids, not THC. Or excuse me, THC, not cannabinoids.
Right.
That's right. So we've got lots of students on our products, HJB at the Haylo store.
Okay, that helps.
Yeah.
Okay, what sort of CBD regimen is safe and recommended for active children and adults? And I think you pretty much talked about that.
Yeah, you have to listen to your body, right?
Yeah.
You have to pay close attention. Your body's talking to you. When it tells you something hurts, your body's talking to you.
Right.
Listen. So listen to your body. Listen to what you're putting in your body, whether it be a hemp or a cannabis-based product, alcohol, milk, you know,
Right.
whatever. Listen to your
Do
body.
your research, right?
Yes,
I think so maybe we don't
absolutely.
listen to our body. We just like mask it.
Yeah.
You know?
So our bodies are talking to us when it hurts.
Right. I think they talk to us all day long. Okay, I'm going to have to end this just because of time restraints, but
Okay.
all in all, I love that you shared your story about Haley, which is huge. I remember meeting you and I remember being like, God, and it would hit home to a lot of people. And it makes me really want to look at what the heck I'm taking before I just, pop anything in my mouth because they're gummies and,
Yeah. Be careful of those.
Yes.
'cause you really don't know what you're taking.
Okay, and that helps.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go check out your store. You are tell us your locations real quick.
Okay, so 8400 Douglas at the corner of Northwest Highway and the Tollway in Dallas. 7004 Lebanon Road in Frisco.
Right?
Stacy Road and Highway 5 in Fairview.
Okay.
El Dorado, West El Dorado, out across from the police department.
Oh, I didn't know you were there.
In Little Elm. Waxahachie, off of Highway 77.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you for sharing everything. Hope everyone has a great day.